Hi friends, it's Kathy from RustPaperScissors. I hope you are all healthy and safe and crafting in these trying times. I am filming out of my bedroom. Empty nest filled back up. The kids are home from college and my husband is working from home, so I try to be quiet. So I'm in here and I'm a little off kilter, so if I sound a little strange, that's it. But I wanted to do a new product highlight, and then I wanted to do a quick little demo. It's very easy. You've probably seen it, but I loved it and wanted to do it. It's aging the cello tape. And so, but first of all, I wanted to give I guess a little shout out or some recognition to an Etsy shop. It's Once Upon a Digi. She makes these beautiful digital printouts. This one is the vintage butterflies, but she does mushrooms, she does rabbits, she does for Easter, she did, let's see, she does roses, she does gift tags, vintage tags, collage papers. She has a royal garden kit. Just some beautiful things. So I wanted to show that, and like I say, I'd love for you to go over to her shop and take a look. Her things are reasonably priced, so I wanted to mention that. Once Upon a Digi. Okay, now the first thing I want to talk about new in my shop were these button string closures. These are made, I make these with a small metal rim tag, some old book paper, and a brad, and then I add a string on the back, and I add foam tape to the back so you can easily peel off the backing and then add it to your envelope and you're done. The same with the other side. You put it on there and you have your button and string closure, and it's easy, it's fun to add something. I also make them with the just the tea-dyed button string closures, and then I do a single closure and I'll show you the example of that. But let me show you. This is an example of like a policy envelope that I added the button string closures, and it gives it a little dimension so it's easy to wrap the string around. The other thing I like about the metal rim tags are I think they're more sturdy than just cardstock or a tag that you could put on there. So that's another reason I liked those. But again, they're very easy to use. This is an example of the one string closure. Now this is I call it a faux French enameled or faux enameled number or letter, and I think this one is the vintage one. It looks like an old typewriter key, but I'll show you some examples of the clear ones in a minute. But this is the closure where you just have the one string, and it's very easy to do. Again, it's on some foam tape, so it's easy to get the strings on there and easy to use. And I'll show you some other examples. Let's see. This is an example of just a small tag that you use as a tuck spot, so that's easy to do. Again, I think they're a little bit more sturdy than just cardstock. And so that's an example. This is an example of a tag where you just can move it around and open the flap, and that keeps the flap closed. And this is another example of the string closure. This one I was going to show you that if you wanted to tape that down into your journal, and then you would just bring this string up and wrap it around. And I make the string very long, so I don't know how big your envelope is, so you can use that. And here's just another example of a card or an envelope with that on there. And another way I use those is to keep the paper closed, or keep the tab closed so it shows. Let's see if I've got another one. I thought I had another one here. I don't see it, but that's a way to use them in your journals. And then this is an example of the enameled number. This is a clear, where it looks like a French enameled number, and then this is just, it says memories, and again it's clear with the enamel, the embossing powder on it. Okay, another new item in my shop is these little file folders. I sell them in the craft and manila cardstock. They're just plain, just a little file folder. They don't really have a spine, so that's them. But this is how you can use them. And on the inside, this is just a small, a mini, composition paper, composition book. I hadn't dyed it or anything, but what you could do is you could staple the book, and then you'd have a little book, or you could do a pamphlet stitch, or just even ribbon, string around, or you could leave it just plain like that, like a little file folder. So that's that small size. And then this is the next size up, a little larger. Again, it's the composition paper. Again, you could staple it in there, and it looks like a file folder. And then this is a little larger one. This is just the whole composition page. Again, pamphlet stitch, or you could staple it and you've got a little booklet. So that's an idea on how to use the file folders. And then I also sell in sets of 3 these this size file folder in the craft and the manila. But this has a little 3/16 inch of a spine. It has a metal prong fastener. It has 10 tea-dyed pages. The beauty of this is you could add or remove pages as you wanted, and again, it looks like a real little file folder. So that's that one. And then this is the manila, and again, the same thing, the tea-dyed pages, the metal prong fastener. I sell those in my shop if you're interested. And it's easy and fun, just a fun little way to use those. Then one of the other new items in my shop are these tabs or hole reinforcers. I put them on tags, or you could put them on the spine of a journal. But it's a little D. They're called D rings, and then this is a triangle. And let me show you some examples on how I use them. This is an example of using the triangle on a tag, and I just added a charm. Just adds a little something. Then if you wanted to add some ribbon to your tag, you could, I'm just having to put this together, you could add it that way at the top, or on the side of a page in your journal. You could have that, or you could have it down, and that could just be an embellishment on the side of your page. You could add some charms. So that's an example. And then this is an example of just adding a charm to, that could be the front of a journal, or it could be a tag, and it's just a fastener. And then this is a chunky charm, and this is, let me put it on this. Like if you had a file folder or a journal, you could put that on there, and let me get in frame. Sorry. And that just adds something, or you could put it on the spine if you have a spine. This one's not a very good example, but that would be an example of it on the spine. And then I also made a tassel with the D ring fastener, and you could add that to a small journal. And this is what this would look like if you added it to a small journal. So that's just an example of some things you could do with those. I rust them, and they come with a rusted brad. So here they are again. Those are for sale in my shop. Okay, now let's get to the demo. This is so easy. You're going to laugh, but it's so much fun. You get a lot of bang for your buck. What I did was I put some cello tape, or this Scotch magic tape, down on a piece of wax paper. And you use the wax paper or deli paper so you can remove the tape easily and it doesn't take the sticky off. So it's an easy way to do it. But what I do is I take alcohol ink, this is caramel color, and I take a piece of felt, and I'll use the other side where I did it before, and you just add a little bit of ink to your felt, and then you just run it along the tape, and you've got aged cello tape. So easy. And it dries quick, and you're done, and it looks great. I'll show you an example. I don't know if you can see it well on this tag, but I added it right there to the paper, and it just gives a little aged look, like it's been there a long time. So that's done very easy. So once I did that, I thought, well, what else could I age? So I had a bunch of the clear hole reinforcers, and sometimes I like to use these in my journals when I have a brad or something that I add to a page. So I took the clear ones and I did the same thing. I took the ink and just ran it across there, and voila, you have aged hole reinforcers. Then I thought, well, I know a lot of people use the envelopes with the window, and I thought, well, I wonder if you could age that cellophane. So I took an envelope and I opened it up here, and I added the tape, and just rubbed it like that, added the ink, and it made it look vintage. And so when you put something clear in, or even colored, it would give it an aged look. So that's an idea. Well, then I got to thinking, since I'm at home and I'm trying to organize and clean some stuff up, I found my old label maker. So I thought, well, I wonder if you could use label tape and make a tag. And sure enough, you can. Here's the example again. The word create I made with the label, and then I aged it with the ink, and I think it looks great. So what you do is you take a word, here's like just a plain word, the word form, and then here's an example of the word memories where I added the ink to it, and it just looks aged. So that was, that's fun. That's just a fun project that you might want to do. Then I wanted to mention, I'm not sure who I saw use these, but they are a tool for putting a mask on your face that you peel off, and it's silicone, and it has a little edge to it, and I just cut it off and made it straight. But I use this to add gesso or paste or gel medium or bead gel. And the beauty of it is, if you don't always get up and clean your instruments, nothing sticks to this. You can put it off to the side and you don't have to worry. You just peel it off and it peels right off. No worries. This is great. I love it because I'm kind of a messy crafter. And then another thing, I know we don't always have all the edged scissors and deco things, I looked in my sewing kit and I found this, I think it's a marking wheel or a seam guide. I'm not real sure what it's called, but it has some metal spikes on it, and if you rolled it along the ticket, you would get a perforated edge, and it works really easy. What I did was I put it on a piece of foam, and I usually use a ruler. I don't have a ruler with me, but all you do is you just start and you just push it in and roll it, and you've got, all of a sudden you've got a perforated edge. And you know, once you get it started, this is pretty thick paper, you know, you could tear it and it looks like a stamp. So that's an idea. And then the other thing I had was I have a Cricut machine, and I have some old mats that are no longer, I can no longer use in the machine. So I cut them into different sizes, and you can use them in your journal, like if you needed to trim a page or something and you'd already put your book together, you can stick it in there and make a cut, no problem. It also helps on these Tim Holt mats. The glass will dull your knife, so if you use a cutting pad, it saves your blades. So I think that's all I had for you today. Again, I wanted to say I hope everyone is safe and healthy and crafting, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you for watching. Bye.